Yeah, okay. Sorry, I have a bit of a cluster headache, so I'm gonna ramble a bit in this video. First of all, everyone, go follow Jason if you're not already. He just had his book release yesterday, and it's book two in his Teshvar series. So, book one and book two. It's high fantasy. I've personally read the first one, haven't gotten to the second one yet because obviously it just released. First one was awesome, though. I also really like his novella because that's more my style, called The Gem of Tagath. This book I loved, and it's the one that convinced me to read the first book, Akathar's Greatest Trick, even though it's 500 plus pages and not the type of book that I typically gravitate to, both being much bigger and being high fantasy, which isn't my typical genre. Anyway, back to the point of the video. I am very much an overwriter. So my books, I think I write them about 80 to 120,000 words. And so these are my published books. This book's coming up soon. Anyway, once I sort of finish the first draft and get to the revision stages, I just habitually go, yeah, that adds no value. Yeah, that adds no value. And I cut it down to 20 to 30,000 words, roughly 200 ish pages. But I try and digest it into short, digestible stories that most people that aren't avid readers, could read in a night or two, because that's generally speaking what I liked growing up. Now, I'll read anything because, I'm an author. I love reading, it's one of my favorite hobbies. But a lot of people stopped reading after high school, and I disagree with their decision. So I made my book bold font with 1.25 spacing, and I make them short and digestible. But the emotional toll it takes on you to write a full sized book, like a big, thick book, and then just, delete. Like, I think I would make a lot of authors cry because, like, I don't even save a copy to go back. I'm just like, yeah, nope, done. And what many of, so I'll write 80,000 words in a month or so, and then it just doesn't sit right with me. So I spend the next couple months picking it apart. Which is funny too, because when I look back at my first couple books, I'm like, it's not my proudest work, but that's, only natural as I. Oops, sorry, dropped my phone. As I mature and learn as an author, I grow and I get better with writing, obviously, as you do. And I have good receptions for my books. Like, people compliment it. It's got like 65-star reviews, somewhere around there. I don't really care about my reviews. I don't even look at them. I just know I'm at like a 4.8 rating. When I first published my books, I was like, you know what? I'd be happy with a 2-star. And I think that speaks to the relatability and one of the most effective things about TikTok and being on camera. People relate to you more and, they're more forgiving. But it's hard because, that imposter syndrome where you never think that you're a good writer. And then you face, bad reviews. And so far, I've been lucky. Like, I've only had one genuine where the person was like, no, I hated your book. But he was, nice and cordial about it. And he's like, you know what? Like, it's not for me. Because I tell things in a very episodic nature and, short story novellas. I cram a shitload of information in. And typically, I like to do that through dialogue. Like, the Magic Systems book that you recommended to me, one of the things that said was the most important is to explain it through dialogue like you're a kid learning a magic system and you're having a lesson. Because it makes sense in a narrative sense that the kid would need an explanation. But beyond that, even the most negative 1-star review I got was by another author who's published like 30 books. And he gave me a 3-star saying, like, oh, well, great, you got a lot of potential. It was a wonderful story, but there was this, this, and this that I found inconsistent. And given it that it was my first book, I'm like, oh, awesome, thanks. Later on, Buddy decides to mail me a book fully edited with like 100 pages in notes from America, and I see the postage on it. It's like $80. But like, I'm 8 or 9 books published now. I had 4 programming books published and one mystery thriller that I've unpublished, but yeah, I've got 5 books published now, I think. Something. I don't know. I'm rambling. Now, like, I'm writing my Forever Mortal book, the book 3 in my Wandering Universe series, and I just don't care anymore. Like, I don't care how it's perceived, but I mean, if it's perceived well, I'm eternally grateful. But I think I've gotten over the, oh, what if people don't like my book, and just sort of chalk it up to now, oh, if you don't like my book, okay, it's not for you. No biggie. And I've established enough of my own readers that, like, I don't feel hubris and think my books are amazing. But I do know with every book that I publish, I get better and better. And I enjoy the process more and more. So this is mainly for my YouTube audience because, most of my TikTok audience are political in nature, but my writing YouTube, just keep in mind, guys, not everybody's going to read your book, and that's okay. Reviews are also only for the reader, not for you. But some people will love your book. And not only that, but your book could be the inspiration for someone that either gets them into reading or to become an author themselves. You might even have readers that decide to do fan art of your book without you having to ask. They take time out of their day to express their skills and bring your characters to life. So don't worry about how people will perceive your book. Worry about how you can make the next one better.